Within the past decade, one of the most ensuing issues that has been a publicly issued concern throughout the nation has been the use of technology for predators to be able to take advantage of children, basically, through the use of the internet, which, as most of us know, is the most common form of technology within this past decade, within this generation. Therefore, my topic is online predators who have victimized minors through the use of technology, which in this particular case ranges between children from 6 to 18 years of age. This abuse is, again, is used within the most common method of technology, being the internet. And as we all know, children of all ages use the internet all the time, with whether it's in school, whether it's outside of school, whether it's as a recreational activity, whether it's for homework. Um, it's something that we all use, and it's something that we should, as a general population, be concerned about, because this is one of the most common methods of technology that these predators are taking advantage of, because there are no statutes, because there are no laws specifying against this specific crime. Because technology is always one step ahead of law enforcement, it is very difficult for law enforcement agencies to be able to successfully prosecute these online predators who are taking advantage of our children during this generation. This is not something that we had to worry about um, in the past 20 years. It's something that has very, very much increased within the past 5 to 10 years. And it's something that, if we haven't started worrying about, we need to start worrying about, because it is one of the most common forms of crime that have occurred in this generation, although it has not been reported. Though 25% of it has been reported, we probably already know that a lot of these crimes are not being reported because these are of children that are very young, that don't know what they're doing, that don't realize the consequences of their actions. Anyway, some of the facts that I will be discussing within my paper include some studies that law enforcement agencies have conducted in reference to this specific crime, such as the National Juvenile Online Victimization Study. This particular study was composed to determine the action that law enforcement will basically take with these online predators, and what actions they would also take to try to prevent this crime from occurring. There are basically three types of crime that online predators can commit electronically. The first is the use of child pornography, so basically any kind of sexual exploitation and distribution of pictures, videos that are taken online and do involve children. This usually involves children between the ages of 6 and 12 years of age, and everything is sent through, whether it's email, uh, instant messaging, and this usually occurs with these children between the ages of 6 and 12 to adults between the ages of 25 and 40 years of age. That's the first one. The second one is through the use of law enforcement detectives. This is when the law enforcement detectives go into specific chat rooms, specific websites, create internet profiles in which they pose as children. Usually, this is a little younger, so the children are between the ages of 6 and 10. And they basically have online conversations with them, enough to have this evidence to be able to prosecute them. They'll meet with them, and then at that time they'll do the arrest. Though this happens frequently, not many actually get prosecuted, and this is unfortunately the best method to actually prosecute them successfully, which means that the only ones that are getting prosecuted are through the law enforcement officials that are utilizing this method. So that is very unfortunate. This is something also that I look forward to doing my research on throughout the course of the semester. And lastly, the third type is the distribution of this child pornography, which doesn't necessarily have to be utilized through the internet. So this can mean that although they can get these pictures or these videos, which do include adult and children sexual exploitation, sexual activity, intimacy, they can distribute it, not only electronically, they can distribute it to their peers, to people that are similar to them within their community. It can go on a national level, which means that the biggest problem that law enforcement agencies are having is communication. If a law enforcement agency is aware of a crime that is occurring through an offender that is not in their jurisdiction, they have no right to prosecute that criminal. This means that they need to work together with other law enforcement agencies throughout the country to be able to prosecute these offenders, because they are very smart. Like I said, technology is one step ahead of law enforcement agencies, and they are smarter than us at the end of the day. This is something that we need to strengthen as a nation. Not only law enforcement agencies, but also as a general population. We need to be more aware of what's going on. We need to be more attentive of our children and what they're doing and the use of the internet, because at the end of the day, this is something that offenders know they can take advantage of. So those are the three types of the most important types of crime that I will be discussing within the body of my paper. As far as action taken by law enforcement, there have been a few that I will specify within my paper as well. There have been specialized victim units researching and focusing on this particular crimes throughout the nation on a local, state, and federal level. The FBI, the CIA, Postal Inspection Services, they have all united together to try and combat this problem, or at least alleviate the problems that have been occurring throughout the nation. The U.S. Department of Justice has funded internet crimes against children task forces around the country to develop specialized investigative and training expertise. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has set up the cyber tip line to encourage the reporting and investigative of internet child pornography. So again, as I said before, communication is one of the biggest concerns that needs to be improved within our nation. This is not only something that law enforcement agencies have to improve on, but something that we as citizens, we as parents, we as the education system, we as guidance counselors and advocacy centers all have to improve on. We need to be attentive of our children. We need to be more focused on what they're doing and anything basically that they're telling us when it comes to the use of technology, because this is something that's happening all around us. Nonetheless, one of the biggest problems with online predators is that because there is no statute or laws enabling law enforcement to prosecute, especially, again, if it's not within its jurisdiction, the prosecutor will fail to be successful. There have been more failures of prosecution rates than there have been successes. Approximately 25% have been successful since the year 2000, which is not good at all. Nonetheless, some of the misuse of the internet by online predators include MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, internet profiles created by children. This is where online predators are most prone to be in, things like that. And then through the use of technology, law enforcement agencies are able to capture these predators, but not many. They're few and far between. So, like I said in the beginning, it's really a communication issue. This is not something that I'm looking to find a solution on. It's just something that we need to be more aware about, something that is a major concern within our generation, and something that definitely needs to be improved throughout the country. I mean, this is not only a problem within the United States, but it's a national problem. But as a U.S. problem, the biggest concern needs to be communication nationally. That's one of our biggest problems. So just to conclude, this is something that I'm just looking to do extensive research on. Just something that I was interested in the beginning of the semester, and something that I look forward to conducting my research on, and it's something that I hope to get something out of ultimately.